Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tim at Red Daddy Studios. Today's October 1st. Happy October. Rainy day here in Florida, which is unusual. We haven't had a lot of rain in our area in a long time, and it has rained, probably rained more this week than it has for the entire year, but we're happy to see it. So, anyway, but I got a few things to show you. A couple things I've finished, a couple things in progress. So we'll just start right off with this, and I'm going to show you this. This is the 1/16 scale Monogram slash Mattel Goin Buggy, and this is with the Volkswagen body on it. I pretty much finished this up yesterday, and it's built box stock, except for the windows. I made acetate windows. The kit windows were trashed, so I went on and just cut some out of acetate, and I like the blue tint. This is painted with House of Colors Candy Hot Pink. It's got a bunch of clear or a bunch of flake, excuse me, in the clear. And of course, got my favorite 5-spoke rims on it. And the interior is done in a silver metal flake. And there's not a lot of detail to this thing. I brushed in the dash details on the gauges and stuff, but there's not much to it. It's very simple, and it was a fun little build. This actually screws onto the chassis, the body. Here's the other body, which is this would have been, it's kind of a cross between a Corvette and maybe the old Bradley GT kit cars. Definitely has some Corvette influence there. That's a little two-seater thing. This is just in some silver base coat. I may never use it. I got an idea on what I want to do as far as the paint, but and I will eventually paint it. But for right now, just doing this. And can't get the engine hood open with that moving. Anyway, it has a pretty decent little motor in it. I had the hinges broke on the engine hood. I had pinned it, and then last night the plastic cracked on it, and I had to reinforce it with some super glue. So I've got to try to work that open this morning and make sure it's okay. But there's not much to it. You can see the chassis pan there, and there's 4 set screws in there where you screw this, and you can interchange it with the different bodies. You kind of see the engine back there. But yeah, so that one's done. Anyway, this was a birthday gift from my buddy Chuck Darnell, and I had been after one of these kits, and he had it and wasn't going to build it, so he passed it on to me. So thank you, Chuck. I have to say there's a lot of kits. Actually, the next couple of things I'm going to show you I wouldn't have in my collection if it wasn't for him. So many thanks to Chuck as usual. So kind of move along here, and I'll show you one of the next things I'm working on. This is another restoration, and I'm just gonna sit the body up here. I've got the body and the chassis in primer. I've been doing body work on this. This is the Revell Funster, which is the reissue of the Dave Deal Super Spurt Malibu SS, and this is one of the later issues. Basically the same thing. They just changed it up on the decals, and of course took Dave's name off it, which is bullshit. That was during that era when these model companies were basically, they had gotten these designs from people like Dave or Tom Daniel, and the company sold, and they decided they didn't need to pay royalties to these guys anymore, so they took their names off the boxes, took their artwork off the boxes, and yeah, just kind of screwed them over. So that was a bad time in model car history. So I got a little work to do on this. This was a painted glue bomb. It had been assembled poorly, and of course it had fallen apart, and there was some damage to the roll cage. I just got really my first round of primer on this, so I'm gonna come back and do some sand. You can see it's got these high seams on here, so do some sanding on there, clean that up. But yeah, I'm excited to get this one back in my collection. I had all these in my collection at one time, and sold them off several years ago, and kind of wish I hadn't, but there was word of reissues, and you know how that goes. I sold the kits that I had and made a whole bunch of money on them, and then a lot of the ones I had weren't reissued. So anyway, that's how it goes. So And the last one I'm going to show you, let's see, I'm going to unplug this, move the bug back here out of the way, and we're pulling this big boy here. This is the Tom Daniel Mean Maverick. This is 1/12 scale, and I also had this in my collection, sold it off because I needed the money, probably 7-8 years ago. But this is another restoration job. I'll have pictures up on my website of what this looked like. All the decals were half on there, and you can see where they've actually kind of impregnated themselves into the plastic where they were. You can see where the glue has affected it. So yesterday I just started, I got all the decals off. I hit this with 220 all over, and I've got still got some, I got to go in, and you can see some of these areas I didn't get sanded. So I'll finish hitting this with 220 today, and then start working it down to some 320 and then some 400 until I get this nice and smooth. I've gotten most of the hard edges off of there, the seams, so that's the hard part. This front window I could not get out, so I've got it taped off so it doesn't get damaged. Same with the scoop, it was just glued in there with too much glue, and you can see there's already some cracks under there. It's funny, you know, the glue can really affect these bodies over the years, and it does, and this is one of those cases, so I didn't want to push it. I've got a little damage back here on these window rails that I've got to fix, but no big deal. This thing's really, these bodies are thick and well made, and I'm just stoked to have this going back in my collection. And again, got this from Chuck Darnell, and it is a basket case. Here's a classic picture. You've heard basket case? This is what basket case means. Literally, comes in a basket. So Chuck has sorted out all the parts, and he went through multiple kits that he had picked up over the years to build the one good, really good Mean Maverick he's got. If you haven't seen Chuck's build, I would implore you to look him up on Facebook or Instagram and check it out, because it's probably the nicest one of these built-ups I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, the paint job is just spectacular. So anyway, so that's what's going on here. Won't be any painting today. Just the humidity's off the charts again. I was out there yesterday. It did stop raining for a little while yesterday. I thought, oh, maybe I can shoot some paint, but it's so humid after this week of rain that that's not going to happen. But you know, cooler weather's coming. It's down the road. Within the next month or so, it should start to cool off, start getting those ideal days for painting, and I'll start hitting things a lot more. I've got several things in base coat primer ready to be painted, so I'm looking forward to it. This is the time of year I'll usually try to really paint up a whole bunch of stuff, and then over the winter months when it's cold and shitty out in the garage part of the studio where I can't paint, that's when I do a lot of assembly work. So I'll have a new figure build to show you this week. I just finished up Jimmy Flintstone's Dr. Flintbone figure. I guess that's kind of Jimmy's alter ego, maybe. I don't know, Jim. Is it? Anyway, so I'm waiting on some green plexi to make a custom base for it. He's not real stable, so I'm gonna have to glue him down on a base, and I'm gonna make a little sign and stick it in the ground next to him. This is "The Doctor is in." So, but the figure's pretty much done, and I'll have that to show you in the next couple of days. But for now, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys later this week sometime with some more stuff. In the meantime, I hope you're all building, and have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.